dər-bē, Connecticut. dər-bē, dər-bē, is a city in New Haven County, Connecticut, United States, approximately 8 miles west-northwest of New Haven, Connecticut. dər-bē is located in southwest Connecticut at the confluence of the Housatonic and Naugatuck Rivers. It borders the cities of Ansonia to the north and Shelton to the southwest, and the towns of Orange to the south, Seymour to the northwest, and Woodbridge to the east. The population was 12,903 at the 2010 census. It is the smallest city in Connecticut by area at 5.3 square miles. dər-bē was settled in 1642 as an Indian trading post under the name Pawgasset. It was named after Derby, England, in 1675. It included what is now Ansonia, Seymour, Oxford, and parts of Beacon Falls. dər-bē is home to the first electric trolley system in New England, only the second in the United States. It is also home to the first electric locomotive in U.S. history to be built and successfully used commercially for hauling freight. The locomotive, built in 1888, is still kept in running condition by the Shoreline Trolley Museum. History. Colonial and Revolutionary era. dər-bē was settled in 1642 as an Indian trading post under the name Pawgasset by John Wakeman of New Haven, though fur traders had been in the area before and Native Americans had lived there for centuries. In 1651, the first year-round houses were completed. At that time the New Haven colony had recognized Pawgasset as a town. The residents of the town of Milford protested Pawgasset's recognition as an independent town and, as a result, the order was rescinded and Pawgasset returned to the Milford jurisdiction. In 1675, the former plantation of Pawgasset was admitted as the township of dər-bē by the state legislature, named after Derby, England. dər-bē was incorporated on May 13, 1775. 1800s. In 1836, the Coleman brothers began the Birmingham Iron Foundry on the corner of Main Street and Water Street. It employed between 100 to 125 and was one of the many manufacturing businesses thriving in the city in the 1800s. In 1927, the company merged with Farrell Corporation of nearby Ansonia and renamed Farrell Birmingham Corporation. The dər-bē facility closed and was razed in 2000 to make way for a Home Depot. The Ansonia division is still in business and opened their new plant in the Fountain Lake Commerce Park in 2017. In the 19th century, both corsets and hoop skirts were manufactured in the city. The Krause Corset Factory is the oldest major factory building to survive from dər-bē's corset manufacturing period. It was built by Sidney A. Downs, opened in 1879, and expanded in 1910. In 1987 it was added to the National Register of Historic Places. In the 1990s it was converted to apartments and underwent a second addition, a first-floor parking garage and 3 stories of apartments added on the north side along Roosevelt Drive, Connecticut Route 34. In 1872, the dər-bē Silver Company began production. In 1898, the company became a division of the International Silver Company headquartered in Meriden, Connecticut, but continued making silver with its brand name until 1933. 1900s. Charlton Comics, a comic book publishing company that existed from 1944 to 1986, was based in town. Towns created from dər-bē. Neighborhoods. Geography. According to the United States Census Bureau, the town has a total area of 5.4 square miles, 8.7 square kilometers, of which 5.0 square miles, 13 square kilometers, of it is land and 0.4 square miles, 1.0 square kilometers, of it, 7.41%, is water. The city is home to the 417 acres, 0.652 square miles, Osborndale State Park. dər-bē is divided into 2 main sections by the Naugatuck River, East dər-bē and dər-bē Center, Birmingham. The center of dər-bē is approximately 66 miles, 106 kilometers, from New York City. The lowest elevation is 3 feet, 1 meter, and the highest elevation is 466 feet, 142 meters, above sea level. Climate. The climate in this area is characterized by hot, humid summers and generally mild to cool winters. According to the Köppen climate classification system, dər-bē has a humid subtropical climate, abbreviated CFN on climate maps. January is on average the coolest month and July is on average the warmest month. Demographics. As of the census of 2010, there were 12,902 people, 5,388 households, and 3,241 families residing in the town. The population density was 2,563 people per square mile. There were 5,849 housing units at an average density of 1,169.8 per square mile. The racial makeup of the town was 82.08% white, 7.06% black or African American, 0.2% Native American, 2.60% Asian, 0.00% Pacific Islander, 4.2% from other races, and 2.6% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 14.2% of the population. There were 5,388 households, out of which 28.9% had children under the age of 18 living with them, 39.6% were married couples living together, 15.3% had a female householder with no husband present, and 39.8% were non-families. 32.8% of all households were made up of individuals and 12.3% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.35 and the average family size was 3.01. In the town, the population was spread out with 23% under the age of 19, 6.2% from 20 to 24, 27.8% from 25 to 44, 27.3% from 45 to 64, and 15.7% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 40 years. The median income for a household in the town was $32,438. And the median income for a family was $57,790. The per capita income for the town was $32,438. 12.7% of the population is below the poverty line. Polish immigration. Polish immigrants have left a large mark on the demographics of the town, with 18% of all residents claiming Polish as their ethnicity and 2% as having been born in Poland. Due to this large population, the town features several Polish shops, restaurants, and clubs. St. Michael's the Archangel Parish, a Roman Catholic church, serves Mass in Polish as well as English. Culture. Annual events. Museums. Cuisine and nightlife. The city is home to 27 food establishments, from fast food to sit-down dining. dər-bē's restaurant and bar scene, located primarily in the downtown section of the city, includes Connecticut Magazine, the New Haven Register, and the Hartford Courant named the Dewdrop in Best Chicken Wings in Connecticut, 2018, Best in New Haven County, 2019 and statewide runner-up for Best Chicken Wings, 2019. Archie Moore's Bar and Restaurant also received statewide winner for Best Nachos, 2019 from Connecticut Magazine. In 2017, THC The Hops Company purchased a former private venue and converted it into a 4.5-acre beer garden and outdoor bar. The venue offers over 40 craft beers, domestic and international, hard cider, cocktails, and wine. Zupadisa Beats, a prominent New Haven-style pizza restaurant, has a satellite location on the property. For 3 consecutive years, 2017-19, the venue has been named the best beer garden in Connecticut by Connecticut Magazine. In 2017, Badson's Beer Company, a craft brewery, purchased the former Manger Dye Company on Roosevelt Drive to begin production. The brewery offers beer, wine, and cider from a 100-plus seat taproom. Food trucks and other restaurants deliver to the taproom on different days of the week. There are also indoor and outdoor activities offered including shuffleboard, foosball, giant Jenga, cornhole, giant Connect 4, and an outdoor seating area with fire pit. The name of the brewery is an acronym for the towns that comprise the Naugatuck River Valley: Beacon Falls, Ansonia, dər-bē, Seymour, Oxford, Naugatuck, and Shelton. Economics. In 2017, Moody's Investors Service downgraded the city's bond rating from AA to AA, citing weak budgetary performance in 2016. Grand List. 2016, $1,028,072,826.82. 2010, $1,091,576,401. Mill rate. Notable businesses. dər-bē Silver Company, 1872 to 1933, international silver company based in dər-bē. Charlton Comics, 1944 to 1986, comic book company based in dər-bē. Griffin Hospital, 1909 present, community hospital, largest employer in dər-bē with 1,357 employees, 2010. Badson's Beer Company, 2017 present, brewery in dər-bē. Dewdrop Inn, 2008 present, voted Connecticut Magazine's Best Wings in Connecticut 2017-18. THC, The Hops Company, 2015 present, voted Connecticut Magazine's Best Beer Garden in Connecticut 2017 and Best Beer Bar in Connecticut 2017-18. Curved Glass Distributors, 1970 present, glass manufacturer based in dər-bē. Aquavim, future, aquarium manufacturer undergoing move from Queens, New York to dər-bē. Redevelopment projects. Factory Street Square. In 2018, a development group working with the owners of the Beretta landscaping property submitted a conceptual design to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a 4-phase 400-unit high-density residential and commercial development on Factory Street in downtown dər-bē. The project, called Factory Street Square, would be built in 4 phases over the next 4 to 6 years on light industrial property currently unused. The buildings proposed would sit on 5 acres of near-vacant land. They would be 4 stories high with first-floor retail shops and restaurants with residential above. The project, tailored toward attracting millennials and empty nesters to the area, will offer amenities not seen in other residential complexes in the city, including a health club, indoor golf simulator, rooftop garden, dog-sitting, walking and grooming, and an in-complex library. The site is located 1 block from rail and bus lines that meet at the dər-bē Shelton Railroad Station, making the project a transit-oriented development, TOD. The project is expected to begin in late 2019, early 2020. South side of Main Street. Since 2003, the city and state have been demolishing buildings on the south side of Main Street, Connecticut Route 34, in order to widen the roadway from 2 lanes to 4 lanes divided by a center median. Multiple development projects have been proposed in the past, from high-density mixed-use to big-box retail plazas. However, none have been successful. In 2019, the last 4 buildings on the south side of Main Street were demolished. Following delays, the widening project has a tentative construction start date of early 2020. The Factory Street Square project is the most recent proposal, and rather than attempting to redevelop the entire 23-acre parcel, their proposal only encompasses 5 acres. Pershing Square Shopping Center. In 2014, Valley Bowl, a popular local bowling alley, was raised to erect a modern shopping plaza and realign an offset intersection. New retailers were an Aldi supermarket, Panera Bread, Pet Value, AT&T, Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen, and Physician One Urgent Care. The realignment of the entrance was a joint venture between the Pershing Square developers and the developers of the adjacent property, Red Raider Plaza. Shortly after the completion of the plaza, it was purchased by Greenwich-based Hearst Adult Biddle Properties Incorporated for $9 million. Red Raider Plaza. In 2011, Walgreen Company, a national retail pharmacy chain, purchased Red Raider Plaza for $7.15 million with plans to remodel one of the buildings and demolish the other to make room for a Walgreens pharmacy. Following the announcement that Walgreens would acquire Rite Aid in 2015, Walgreens froze the construction of all new stores, which included the dər-bē store. Walgreens maintains building ownership and continued the redevelopment with some changes. The plaza received a significant building renovation, parking lot improvements, and realignment of one of the entrances. Med Express Urgent Care took Walgreens Place on the corner of Pershing Drive and Division Streets, their first location in Connecticut. New retailers that joined the plaza were Crown Fried Chicken, Leslie's Pool Supply, Planet Fitness, Wayback Burgers, Jersey Mike's Subs, Sprint, and Verizon. In 2018, plans were approved for Starbucks to build a drive-through cafe in the Planet Fitness parking lot, the city's second location. In 2019, plans were approved for a Moe's Southwest Grill. Government. Local. City government. The city government consists of a 9-member Board of Aldermen and Alderwomen, BOA, a Board of Education, Board of Finance, Planning and Zoning Commission, and many other appointed boards and commissions. The current mayor is Richard J. Aircon, R., since 2017. The Board of Aldermen and Alderwomen is separated into 3 districts within the city and headed by the Charles Sampson, president of the board. Regional government. dər-bē is part of the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments, a regional planning organization that assists member cities/towns with transportation, economic development, brownfield development, land use, environmental and emergency planning, grant writing, etc. State. In the Connecticut General Assembly, dər-bē is represented by State Senator George Logan, R., State Representatives, Themis Clarides, R114, Linda Gentile, D106, and Teresa Conroy, D105. Since 2015, Themis Clarides has been the minority leader of the Connecticut House of Representatives. dər-bē also has a State of Connecticut Superior Courthouse on Elizabeth Street adjacent to the dər-bē Green. Federal. As of 2015, Connecticut's United States Senators are Richard Blumenthal, D., and Chris Murphy, D. Connecticut has 5 representatives in the U.S. House, all of whom are Democrats. Education. There are 5 public schools and 1 private school in dər-bē, Connecticut. As of the 2017 to 2018 school year, there were 1,386 students enrolled in public schools and 159 students enrolled in private school. The total number of students enrolled in public and private schools is 1,545. On January 12, 2018, a former extended care health facility was sold to Apex International Education Partners, AIP, to be converted into dormitories for international high school students attending private schools in the area. The dormitory was opened on September 19, 2018, and at full capacity it can accommodate 110 students and 10 to 12 employees. Crime. According to USA.com crime statistics, dər-bē has the 14th highest crime rate per capita in Connecticut of the 89 reporting cities. In 2017, dər-bē had 1 homicide, 2 rapes, 16 robberies, 23 aggravated assaults, 35 burglaries, 238 larcenies, 33 motor vehicle thefts, and 2 arsons. Criminal cases are prosecuted by the state's attorney's office, and dər-bē also has a State of Connecticut Superior Courthouse on Elizabeth Street adjacent to the dər-bē Green. Notable crimes. The dər-bē Poisoner. Lydia Sherman was a female serial killer active from 1864 to 1871 in New York and dər-bē, poisoning and killing 3 husbands and 8 children. She is known to have killed 1 husband and 2 children in dər-bē in 1867. She was nicknamed the dər-bē Poisoner for using arsenic to kill her victims. Sherman was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison in 1872. She died in 1878 in prison. Ferrera family triple homicide. On August 12, 1989, 3 members of the Ferreira family on Emmett Avenue were stabbed to death by Derek Roseborough. Their bodies were discovered by a family member late that same evening. The suspect, Roseborough, was found a short time later in New Haven with a self-inflicted stab wound and confessed. Roseborough was sentenced to 130 years in prison in 1992 and spared the death penalty. Public safety, healthcare, law enforcement. dər-bē Police Department. The dər-bē Police Department provides police services to the residents of the city and is located at 125 Water Street. As of 2016, the department had 36 sworn police officers. The current chief of police is Gerald D. Narofsky. State police agencies. Lake Housatonic Authority. The Lake Housatonic Authority acts as an agent for member towns along Lake Housatonic in regards to patrolling and ensuring safe operation of watercraft. Patrol officers are trained by the Connecticut Police Academy in Meriden, Connecticut. Patrol officers are also trained in first aid, CPR, boating law, and safety regulations. Fire Department and Emergency Medical Services. The City of dər-bē is served by volunteer firefighters in the dər-bē Fire Department, DFD. Emergency Medical Services, EMS, Rescue Services, and Hazardous Materials, HAZMAT, mitigation is provided by Storm Engine Company Ambulance and Rescue Corps since 1948. Parks and Recreation. dər-bē Greenway. The dər-bē Greenway is a 2.05-mile-long multi-purpose trail located on the west side of dər-bē along the Naugatuck and Housatonic Rivers. The Greenway is part of the Naugatuck River Greenway Trail System, a proposed 44-mile multi-purpose trail that follows the Naugatuck River from Torrington to dər-bē. The dər-bē section of the Naugatuck River Greenway system is the busiest multi-purpose trail in Connecticut with 302,550 trips counted in 2017. Osborndale State Park. Osborndale State Park is a 417-acre, 0.652 square miles, state park located in dər-bē and partially in Ansonia. It was established in 1956 after being willed to the state by the Osborne family. The park includes the Osborndale Homestead, the Kellogg Environmental Center, Pickett's Pond, and an extensive system of hiking trails. The entrance to the park is located on Chatfield Street across from the entrance to dər-bē High School and Middle School. The park offers field sports, hiking, ice skating, museum tours, picnicking, pond fishing, and rental of pavilions for outings. There is no fee for parking and the park is open from sunrise to sunset. Private first-class Frank P. Wheatek Memorial Park. The Frank P. Wheatek Memorial Park is a 144-acre park on the east side of the city dedicated to Medal of Honor recipient Frank P. Wheatek, who was born in dər-bē on December 10, 1921. The property, formerly a reservoir, dates back to 1859 when the burgeoning borough of Birmingham, present-day downtown dər-bē, needed a stable water supply. The newly established Birmingham Water Company bought the area, which was mostly meadows and farmland, to create 2 reservoirs by damming area brooks. The land was purchased by the city in 1997 and dedicated on May 29, 1999. In addition to the 2 ponds, former reservoirs, there are hiking/walking trails and 2 soccer fields the city built in 2006. Landmarks and monuments. National Register of Historic Places. Landmarks. National Humane Alliance Fountain. The city has resurrected its National Humane Alliance Fountain, a century-old granite structure with lion head spigots, as part of a gateway entrance plaza at the Division Street entrance to the dər-bē Greenway. The fountain was given to the city in 1906 by the National Humane Alliance and erected at the intersection of Seymour and Atwater Avenues. The water was first turned on June 1, 1906. Years later it was moved to Founders Commons when traffic patterns made its original location a problem. It fell into disrepair and was not used as a fountain while on Founders Commons. When the dər-bē Greenway was built, the fountain was moved to its new location on June 22, 2006, fully restored with new plumbing and new lions' heads and formally dedicated with the surrounding Derby Hall of Fame plaza on September 1, 2007. The fountain has 3 levels. The top level contains spigots in the shape of lions' heads for humans, below is a large circular bowl for horses, and at the base are smaller bowls for dogs and cats. Civil War Monument. In 1875, the Elisha S. Kellogg Post of the Grand Party of the Republic raised $1,475 to erect a statue to honor the soldiers of Derby and Huntington, now Shelton, who served in the Union forces. In 1878, an unknown person made a donation of $1,500 for the statue base, which made it possible to proceed with erecting the statue. The base of the monument was dedicated July 4, 1877. Several years later, $3,200 was pledged for a remodel of the existing base and the addition of an upper base and a 7-foot bronze statue, bringing the total height of the monument to 21 feet 4 inches. The remodel and addition was constructed by Morris J. Power of New York City. The sculptor of the bronze statue is unknown. The dedication of the remodel/addition was held on July 4, 1883 and was attended by approximately 8,000 people. The monument was restored in 2018 for a cost of $75,000. Old Derby Uptown Burial Ground, Colonial Cemetery. The city was one of, if not the first, to create a public burial ground in the country, not affiliated with a church. The first known burial is that of Reverend John Bowers, in 1687, the first minister of Derby. There is a period of 241 years between the first and last stones placed in the cemetery. The cemetery is open to the public and is located at the intersection of Derby Avenue and Academy Hill Road. Notable events. 2001 anthrax attacks. On November 16, 2001, 94-year-old Ottilie Lundgren, of Oxford, was brought to Griffin Hospital in Derby experiencing difficulty breathing and cold-like symptoms. Based on Lundgren's symptoms and her rapidly deteriorating condition, doctors suspected and began testing for anthrax. A response was made to the hospital from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Connecticut State Police, Connecticut State Health Department, and Derby Fire Department hazmat team. The test was confirmed and treatment began, however it was unsuccessful and Lundgren died on November 22, 2001, making her the 5th and final victim of the 2001 anthrax attacks. Derby and Griffin Hospital made worldwide news for days following the incident, and most major news outlets provided 24-hour news coverage for updates on Lundgren's condition. Investigators thought that the anthrax was delivered in a letter via the United States Postal Service to her home in Oxford. However, no suspicious letters were found, and the exact route of exposure was never determined. Post offices in Seymour and Wallingford were investigated, as they were the only 2 post offices that sent mail to Lundgren's home. However, both facilities were determined to be clean. Lundgren's home in Oxford was also quarantined and searched by the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Connecticut State Police. However, nothing was found that indicated how Lundgren had been exposed. In 2008, following a lengthy investigation that repeatedly came up empty, the FBI's primary suspect was Bruce Edwards Ivins, an American microbiologist, vaccinologist, and senior biodefense researcher at the United States Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases, USAMRID, at Fort Detrick, Maryland. However, Ivins took his own life shortly after the FBI named him as the primary suspect. No formal charges or direct evidence has been found to substantiate these accusations. In 2010, the FBI closed the investigation into the attacks. River Restaurant explosion. On December 6, 1985 at approximately 3:45 p.m. EST, a 3-story brick building, located at 268 Main Street, Derby, collapsed following a natural gas explosion, killing 6 people and injuring dozens. Natural gas had seeped into the sewer line following construction in the area. The River Restaurant, located on the main level of the building, had 18 customers and employees inside when the explosion occurred. Residents and businesses within a 10-block radius were evacuated as a precaution while firefighters worked to find those trapped in the debris. The Connecticut Fire Marshal's Office, Connecticut State Police, and the National Transportation Safety Board investigated and found a crack in a 4-inch cast iron pipe near the explosion site. Connecticut's Call Before You Dig program is a direct response to this incident. Caroline Street Fire. On August 12, 1991 at approximately 6:56 p.m. EST, a fire broke out in the basement of a 3-story, 6-family home located at 269 Caroline Street. First arriving units found heavy fire in the nearly 100-year-old building along with reports of multiple trapped residents. The fire department rapidly struck a second and third alarm for additional resources from the surrounding area, including Ansonia, Shelton, Seymour, and Orange. In total, 18 people escaped or were rescued from the building, however a mother and her 2 children were killed in the fire. The fire marshal's office investigated and determined the cause of the fire was accidental. Flood of 1955. August the 10th to the 12th of 1955 brought heavy rain to the east coast from Hurricane Connie saturating the ground. A week later when Hurricane Diane passed through, the rainwater had nowhere to go. As a result, the Housatonic and Naugatuck Rivers overflowed their banks and devastated the Housatonic and Naugatuck River Valley areas. The crest of the Naugatuck River reached 25.70 feet above flood stage, the highest in recorded history, which it still maintains to this day. Low-lying cities in the area, such as dər-bē, Shelton, Ansonia, Seymour, Beacon Falls and Oxford all suffered impacts from the flood. In total, 87 people were killed and an estimated $200 million 1955 or $1.8 billion 2018 in damage was reported. Infrastructure. Green energy. Solar power. In 2015, the city entered into an agreement with BQ Energy Incorporated of Poughkeepsie, New York, which allowed them to install nearly 3,000 solar panels on the city's former landfill, generating approximately 840 megawatts of power annually. The panels are used to offset the cost of powering municipal buildings and are expected to save the city 15 to 20% in energy costs over the next 20 years. The project was funded by United Illuminating through state bidding. Hydrogen fuel cell energy. In 2018, the cities of dər-bē and Hartford were selected to be the home to 2 new hydrogen fuel cell plants through a bid process with the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, DEEP. Fuel Cell Energy Incorporated, of Danbury, was selected to construct and operate these fuel cells, totaling 22.2 megawatts of power. Once constructed, the dər-bē facility would generate 14.8 megawatts of power, and the Hartford facility will generate 7.4 megawatts of power. The dər-bē facility is being constructed on a vacant parcel of land along Roosevelt Drive, Route 34. Construction is expected to begin in the summer of 2019. Singer Village Zero Energy Subdivision. The Singer Estate was built in 1927 by relatives of Isaac Singer, of Singer Sewing Machines. Most of the original 200 acres of property was subdivided off into homes and businesses, and as of 2011, when it was donated to the Valley Community Foundation, the estate was approximately 6 acres in size. That same year it was purchased by Brookside Development LLC, to be further subdivided into Connecticut's first zero-energy subdivision. The development group built 7 homes on the remaining 6 acres, and the historic Singer Mansion sits at the end of the newly constructed dead-end street. In 2016, the development earned the Best Green Energy Single-Family Development and the Best Green Energy Efficient Home from the Home Builders and Remodelers Association of Connecticut. Utilities. Electric utilities are provided by the United Illuminating Company. Gas service is provided by the Eversource Energy. Also, Kinder Morgan Incorporated operates the Tennessee Gas Pipeline that runs partly through the city. Municipal water is supplied by the South Central Connecticut Regional Water Authority. Wastewater services are provided by the city through the Water Pollution Control Authority, WPCA. Transportation. Rail. The city has a Metro-North Railroad station called dər-bē, Shelton. The station is located at 1 Main Street and serves the residents of dər-bē and Shelton, Connecticut. dər-bē Shelton is the last regular stop on the Waterbury branch before it joins the Northeast Corridor. The station is 69.5 miles to Grand Central Terminal, with travel time there being an average of 1 hour, 54 minutes depending on transfer time at Bridgeport. Travel time to New Haven is an average of 1 hour, 2 minutes depending on transfer time. Bus. All bus routes meet at the dər-bē Shelton Metro-North station. The Valley Transit facility is next to the train station on adjoining property. Airports. Local, regional, international. Media. Current. Historical. dər-bē was the location of Charlton Press Incorporated. The company remains unique in the publishing industry in that every phase of production, editorial, printing, distribution, took place under one roof. The Charlton building housed 3 sister companies, Charlton Press, Charlton Publications, and Capital Distribution. The company is best known for its extensive Charlton Comics division, which produced dozens of comic book titles from 1946 to 1985. dər-bē was also the home of Bruce Royal Publishing Corporation, located on Division Street. The company published men's magazines such as Escapade, 1955 to 1968, Gentleman, circa 1964 to 1966, and Playthings, 1964. Notable people. Sister City. Plans for the future. The Howe House will become home of the Lower Naugatuck Valley Industrial Heritage Center, where the dər-bē Historical Society's extensive collection of industrial-era artifacts will be properly displayed. Future educational programs will include student hands-on programs that will introduce the Industrial Revolution and the Valley's active role in this period. Revolution and the Valley's active role in this period. Revolution and the Valley's active role in this period. Revolution and the Valley's active role in this period. Revolution and the Valley's active